My name is Donovan Thompson. I'm from Brooklyn. I also was raised in Queens, went to school on Long Island. My passion is advocacy and activism. I always tell people that it felt like there was like a little gay boy trapped in the pit of my stomach, and I was terrified that my family would see him. Homosexuality in the Jamaican community is essentially, everybody unites. It's in the music, it's in the culture, the hate, and the sense of loathing as it pertains to LGBTQ other. You know, it's like, it's almost incredible the way that you can have, it seems as though if you're a murderer, you're more normally accepted than if you are a gay man. It was the fall of my senior year in high school. I was by my aunt's house and my mother called me and she said, "What is the password for your computer?" My heart was beating so quickly because I was watching the nastiest videos that I could find, okay, at that time. And I was like, oh my God, they're gonna know, they're gonna find out, which they did. And the conversation that we had was terrible. She was like, you're gonna die, essentially. And this is the worst thing that you can choose for yourself. It was terrible. After that day, literally our relationship had changed forever. It was severed, like maybe that tie that we have with our parents, it was severed at that moment. And it took about 10 years for us to rebuild that. And I wrote an article for the Huffington Post about what it means to be Jamaican or Caribbean and gay. That was my first article. I had no choice but to have the conversation again with my family. And my mother was like, you know what? I love you just the way you are. You're amazing. And you're a wonderful person, because while I was growing in those 10 years, so did she. And so did a lot of people in my family. Some people still have their issues. When your mother tells you you're fine, nothing matters anymore. I experience life definitely through the perspective of being a person of color and equally as being a gay man. For me, they're both really huge parts of my life. And not because I necessarily want them to be, but because the world has not embraced me as someone who lives in this particular intersection with open arms. I find that within the Black community, homophobia is very real. It's very real, and while I will assume that it exists in white spaces that I'm in as well, I feel like we haven't even gotten there because I'm already met with the fact that I show up as a Black man. So that in and of itself is an experience, but when going into the Black community and experiencing that nuance, we're all Black, we understand that, but you're gay. And this is problematic because blah, 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 blah. I call it scapegoatism. I think a lot of it has to deal with the fact that, you know, I'm here, I'm occupying this space and as a Black person, and it's been really rough, it's been difficult, but there are gay people and they're nasty and they're worse off. You know, they're beneath me. You know, I feel like it's that idea of like this hierarchy that exists amongst people who are considered minorities. I hate that word, but you know, where we then become the oppressors a lot of times. People are so homophobic and they validate those things with religion, right? And oftentimes tradition. And I think that that's the source of it. Nobody's born homophobic, nobody's born racist. You know, that's an untruth. So it's bred and it's created. I am not one to hide my sexuality. If you're talking about your girlfriend, Mr. Straight Man, I'm gonna talk about my boyfriend, if I have one, I don't. But I would talk about that as well because there's no denying I will never deny who I am for anyone. As we continue to fight the good fight around homosexuality, homophobia, racism, it's important that you just show up in the best way that you possibly can. It allows people to feel that type of, I would say, permission. You're granting them the permission to do the same. So that's it, yeah.